the ultimate cult, right? So, I mean, there's something to be said in that. I mean, just raise your kids right, love them.
And you're talking, I mean, what is shocking for so many is how he taught women how to kill. What do you make of that, Paul?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I mean, I think he had the right people that he wanted at the right time, and he had the right way to do it. You know, he had drugs, he had manipulation, and you know, and I think the woman that he was around, and you know, the research I've done, and I've really closely looked at the interview of who he is that he found a way to empower them where they believed they were empowered, where they could have what they wanted, where they could have that freedom. And what he was trying to show people was the sense of freedom. And freedom is a really weird word in our world.
It was freedom under his control.
Under his control, but he made them believe that was the ultimate freedom. And the woman in his cult, all of them, you know, and there was an occasion at Wilson's house in California, the guy from the Beach Boys, where he had over 100 women staying at Wilson's house, and they cost Wilson, Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, $340,000 US. They stole his car, they stole his jewelry, they stole his money. They, you know, they had orgies. They spent days on end using drugs. It was one of these scenarios where he believed, you know, where he told them that if you do this, you have the power of the world, you have control, and they knew no better. And as we go back to Will Hurley, you know, these women and the men and everyone in this cult had a very, very, very bad parenthood. Like, they didn't have a good childhood with their parents. So
is that true with all of them, Ro? Or some of them just brats that took off from their parents?
I think there were a few rich brats, but I'm not so sure that. But I think the ones that he truly manipulated into killing and to doing these horrible crimes and such were kids with nowhere else to go.
All right, let me ask you. This is the important thing now. I mean, Manson is never going to get out of prison. He's in a wheelchair now, and what's his health status, Ro Hurley?
He's in a wheelchair. He's got supposedly has emphysema. He's not doing too well. I mean, he's what, 73 now, I think.
74, I think now.
Yeah, and you've seen the recent mugshot. I mean, he's not looking well. I really don't think he's got more than a few years.
All right, what do you make of people now deifying Charles Manson? I mean, there is a new Manson cult. There's people who think he's a hero. What do you make of those people? You got Marilyn Manson, of course, you know, conflating Marilyn Monroe with Charles Manson just for a stage name.
Right.
Guns N' Roses has recorded their music. And there were some people that actually believed he was a good songwriter. We'll talk about that in a second with the Beach Boys. But what do you make of people who think of him as cool?
I think that they're looking for something, you know, and they're going to go. It's like people who think they're vampires or people who went into Jim Jones' cult or whatever. They're looking for something, and they haven't found it yet. And hopefully when they find whatever it is, it's not going to be something completely evil.
And if I can say this, Ms. Paul here speaking, the amount of people that have created Facebook, the amount of emails, first of all, that we've received of people supporting Charles Manson, to free Charles Manson, has been overwhelming. We've received over 700 emails from people since we launched this Ro Hurley story this past Thursday night, and we have more intentions, of course, of running her other footage as time moves on, but it's amazing how many people have contacted us at ThursdayNightMagazine.com to say, this guy is innocent, free him, you know, what the government's done is wrong. And it's amazing when I looked on Facebook and I looked on Twitter, the groups that follow this guy that believe in him. It's unbelievable. I mean, one Facebook group site has his membership of over 100,000 people.
Ro Hurley, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, that's true. I'm of the school that I honestly think that people have been let out of prison for bigger crimes than Manson has committed. I mean, he's not murdered anybody, maybe conspiracy to murder, but But I think that...
Do you think he should be let out?
I don't think it would hurt to let him out. I'm not sure that he could function just like, before when he was let out and he wanted to go back in. I'm not sure that he wants to be let out. But I don't think it would do any harm to let him out. I think that...
no, but the guy should have been shot a long time ago.
Well, look at Bugliosi recently when Susan Atkins made her appeal due to her brain cancer, and she had her leg amputated, and she wanted to get out, because she's still out 6 months or whatever. Bugliosi went on national news saying, yeah, let her out. And this is the woman who looked in the face of Sharon Tate and said, I have no mercy for you, bitch, This is the woman who killed a woman who was 2 weeks away from giving birth.
What happened to her? Did she get out?
No.
Good.
Absolutely not.
These people should have been killed. The death penalty should be brought back.
Yeah. I agree with, Susan Atkins, anyone who committed those murders is a waste of life to me.
No, but without Manson, they wouldn't have killed. Do you believe that?
I agree with that.
Yeah. I think that he maybe molded them further into what they already were. I think it was the circumstances, yes, definitely.
But you think that Charles Manson, because he didn't directly commit the crimes, but he was involved in the Hinnon murder, the drug dealer that they're trying to extort money out of, right?
Yes.
And he did shoot another drug dealer, did he not?
That's rumored, the black drug dealer. I don't know if that happened or not, and I haven't gotten to ask him about that one yet. But I certainly will. I would like to know, because really it wouldn't hurt him to admit it. He's in for life. Personally, my opinion is I think that he had people who were more than willing to do these things for him, and so I'm hard pressed to think that he committed any murder.
Ro Hurley thinks Manson should be let out. That people have been let out that have done more. When I come back, your calls at 1-877-801-TALK, 405-6000. Is Charles Manson the poster boy for the death penalty? Paul Fitzgerald is the publisher of Thursday Night Magazine, where we've been running some exclusive tape of Charles Manson in his own words. Back with more here on Maritime Morning.
You're listening to Maritime Morning with Andrew Kystal on News 90.